All right, we are here at New Balance Nationals with Christian Miller, who was sitting atop the world list in the 100 for quite a bit of time, having pros being asked what it's like to see a high schooler up ahead of them. But for you, you're the man in the driver's seat. So what's this season been like for you to run that fast and get not just national attention, global attention?
It's been nothing but just God's blessing throughout the entire season. I remember last year, I was looking at the times I was running at 10:06 and 20.4. Now looking at the next season, I was trying to come out and do something big and set a statement for not just myself, but for all the other younger athletes out there. And I feel like I've done that so far, and I'm looking forward to continue to do it.
Well, it was like we sat here last year.
Remember that vividly.
Right? And you were talking about like, oh, you look to guys like Fred Curley, Noah Lyles as guys that you see yourself competing against. Well, guess what? Like, next week, you're going to be competing against them.
And you might even beat them. Who knows?
Like, time moved by so fast. What's that been like to kind of handle just sort of like, oh, it happened in a year?
Right. A lot of people look at the progression. A lot of them understand it. A lot of them don't. A lot of them have the excuses of, oh, that's not natural. Oh, he's on something. And me, I'm just going out working hard as I can every single day and trying to get better. And you guys see the results, and I'm trying to just take it to a whole nother level.
So, obviously, the first run was 9:93 in Claremont. I think it was like, you sent me the video, we posted it on Instagram, and then everyone's just like, well, this is all we got. We got a grainy video. It's like, but it was win legal. It counted. It was at the top of the list. You come out here, you run 9:95, kind of backing that up, and then decide, all right, save the rest for the trials. I guess, like, how have you mapped out the whole season for yourself? Because, like, yeah, you could have just gone out to the final yesterday. You could have run the 200 here, but you're being smart.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it because I've always had the thought for the season that the Olympic trials is the main goal that we're trying to work towards. So every other track meet that I participate in is trying to just kind of prepare me and make sure that I'm healthy for me going into the trials. So I could have gone and done the 100. I could have gone and done the 200, but the smartest thing for me was to be able to be fresh going into the trials and be able to run my best. So I just chose to come out here, get a prelim in, do the semi to get my rhythm back, and then just prepare for the trials.
Now, when I talked to Quincy about this yesterday, there's a lot of naysayers and like haters out there. They're just like, oh, well, Quincy and Christian, they only like 12 years old and they in high school, and it ain't no way they're going to survive 3 rounds at Olympic trials. But you look very calm, cool, and collected. So what do you have to say to those people that feel like you can't survive going through those rounds?
I see that all the time, and for me, it's honestly, I don't really care if you think that I can't do it. I'm gonna still go out there and do my best. And me and Quincy already being on that stage is something that's generational, that hasn't been seen before. So we're just gonna go out there and perform our best. And after we see what happens, after we see the result, we'll just kind of look back at it and we'll say, hey, we just did that.
For sure. And how I see it is like, they telling you y'all can't do it, but at the end of the day, like, you still there and they at home, so.
That's what it is. So when Quincy was in this seat yesterday, obviously, like, he gets a lot of attention around, like, the conversation for the Olympics. The 100 just seems like really tough to crack, and that, Quincy's like, the other day was dreaming about the Olympics. Have you gotten to dreaming about the Olympics? Because it's a reality that's possible.
For me, how I've looked at it this season, because that 100 I ran a couple of days ago, that makes me the only athlete in the U.S. to go sub-10 more than once, win legally this year. So that's putting me at a very good position going into the trial. So I know that I have my head to get into that top spot. That's definitely a possibility. So I'm always keeping in my head that I have a chance of going out there and competing in the top 3, if not winning the entire event. So I just got to keep that mindset so it allows me to go out there and do my best.
What do you think is the strongest part of your race?
My strongest part is definitely my transition from my start to my top end, because that's really when I start catching up to people or pulling away from people, and I just use that momentum and finish me through.
You're a student of the sport. I feel it. And that, like, has working with your coach, like, have you looked at other guys? Being in Florida, I mean, you get a pretty close look at some of these guys sometimes. Have you molded parts of your start, your finish around some of these other guys, like gone back and watched film? Like, I feel like you're one of those guys who's technical about it.
Yeah, we definitely, every time I get a race, I take it, I'll break it down, I'll see where I could do better, where I can do wrong. Like even in my race I just did, a lot of people wouldn't see, but when I did in my second step, I actually turned my leg outwards. So I actually had almost a false step in my second step, but a lot of people didn't see that. So I was able to go back and look at that. So now I know that's something I need to take back to practice and kind of improve on. So I just have no false steps when I get to the trials.
So let's imagine that you actually do beat the people that you look up to. How is that going to make you feel as somebody that's like, I was definitely looking up to you, but I'm your big bro now?
It will definitely, of course, I always have to remain humble because I know that God can take away that blessing at any times. But if I get to that point, I'll just know that that's a humongous milestone that I've hit, not just as a Florida athlete, but just as an 18-year-old and coming just straight out of high school. It just sets a bar for everybody to kind of go after. Like even people younger than me, like Samari, Jake, even my teammate Joshua Howe, like, it just gives them a bar for them to keep going at, and it shows them that we can perform at this high level. We just got to have that mindset going into it.
Most definitely. And past Olympic trials, and hopefully, Paris, you will be going to Georgia, correct, in the fall?
Yes.
Georgia has been doing some really great things, you know, especially Christopher Morales-Williams. He has just been absolutely taking over that program. But you are about to be another athlete coming in and, you know, being added to that arsenal. So how does it feel knowing that you're going into a program that's already working towards greatness?
It feels great. I feel like I'm going to be going into the team with lots of warm welcomes, and I know that I'm going to have a coach that can develop me to get to the point where I need to be, and I'm just excited to be able to compete with that team and win with that team as well. Now,
I heard that Quincy is also about to go on a visit to Georgia at some point. He said yesterday was the first day. He was already getting phone calls. He don't know how they got their number. But since you are going to Georgia in the fall, you know, you might have to be one of them kids that keep calling his phone to tell him to come on.
Hey, the Avengers are going to assemble in Georgia,
Literally.
It sounds like.
Imagine Christopher, Christian, and Quincy all on one team.
Oh my goodness.
That sounds dangerous.
All
right, final thing for me. The number one comment we get on a photo or video of you guys running so fast is, what are they feeding these kids? What do you like to eat? What are you feeding on that's making you so fast?
Believe it or not, someone actually was asking me this right after I ran, and I sent them a picture of my current meal, and I was sitting there eating a 4-piece from Popeyes.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I love that. All right, you heard it. The secret to getting fast, a 4-piece from Popeyes. All right.
We need him on Popeyes NIL.
That's right. All right. Well, Christian, we're looking forward to seeing you in Eugene. Best of luck. This has been an awesome season. Soak in the moment at Hayward and, you know, throw down something special.
All glory to God. Thank you.
Awesome.